Cantarella is the newest, biggest addition to Wu's roster. In this deep dive, let's break down how she works, cover optimal builds with math, and wrap up with example rotations as well as comparisons to other teams. Let's get into it. Cantarella's kit plays fairly linearly. Gain Forte from certain attacks, and use this in her special Mirage mode to gain a secondary Forte, which you use for a big nuke. However, there's a bit more to know about the specifics of her kit, so let's break it down. Let's start with her intro and inherent skill, as they're closely linked to how her rotation should be played. After casting her intro, on top of starting at basic attack 3, every echo cast from any team member grants Concerto to Cantarella. For echoes that have multiple casts such as Nightmare Crownless, only the first cast will add Concerto. While this may sound like she is reliant on a specific rotation structure to have her teammates generate Concerto for her, she's actually self-sufficient in standard rotations, as we'll cover later. She also gains a small amount of Havoc bonus per echo cast, though this caps out at 2 stacks and is easy to maintain. Cantarella's Forte is gained in several different ways. She gains 1 from her intro, basic attack 3, skill, and 3 from her liberation. Enter Mirage mode by using her heavy attack with at least 1 Forte, which replaces her skill and basic attacks with empowered versions. This empowered skill does not grant Forte, and her new 3-part basic attack now consumes Forte to heal and fill up a secondary resource, Shiver. With 3 Shiver, you gain access to her 3rd skill, which deals a high amount of damage, while also counting as an echo skill. Both her skills in the Mirage state inflict Hazy Dream, a status that souls enemies, doing a hit of bonus damage upon being damaged by Cantarella. Other Resonator's attacks can also end this effect, but will not proc Jolt. As such, it's recommended to avoid ending Cantarella's rotation with either of these enhanced skills to maximize her damage. Let's jump back a bit to her liberation. This is functionally equivalent to JoJo's, guaranteeing coordinated attacks to land every second, as long as you're not AFK. Except, this does significantly less damage, but also counts as an echo skill for what it's worth. Now let's put it all together and look at a basic Forte rotation. Following an intro, basic attack 3 into your echo of choice, dodge cancelling it. Skill and heavy, cancelling it with skill 2. Now do your empowered basic attack combo, following it with skill 3. This is the core, but you'll either need to swap in a skill cast prior to her intro, or use her liberation, as to avoid running out of Forte. You can be flexible with this, depending on your team's needs. If you need a shorter rotation, the liberation can be used right after the basic 3 at the start. If you are looking to fill more time for cooldowns, liberation after skill 3, and do another enhanced basic attack combo following it. Anyway, for more specific examples and applications, check out the calculator. This wraps up our kit. Let's move on to builds next. We'll start off by looking at weapons. Because Cantarella is designed to fit as a sub DPS, we'll look at weapon comparisons in a sub-DPS context, replacing Zhezhi in a Carlotta and Shorekeeper team. Her weapon offers nearly a 27% increase over a 5-star standard, though Zhezhi's signature weapon comes very close to this. Street Master's performance hits a decent middle ground, while Baby's weapon outperforms Cosmic Ripples by virtue of being a limited stat stick. In terms of echo sets, assuming equal investment, Empyrean Anthem is the preferred set. Moonlit Clouds is a slightly weaker option. While it provides stronger buffs than Empyrean, Cantarella does decent enough damage that the buffs to her own damage are worthwhile. Note that Empyrean being good here is less about Cantarella's coordinated attack damage being meaningful, and more that the attack percent buff that it gives benefits both herself and the rest of the party, making it a good hybrid option. Though speaking of a hybrid DPS and buffing set, what about Midnight Veil? This set buffs the user's Havoc damage as well as that of an outgoing Resonator. But what character right now can she even pair with? Camellia wants basic attack damage, so she prefers either Sanhua or Rosha. Havoc Rover is also largely basic attack based, so Rosha is preferred here as well. Even if you do choose to use her in these teams, Moonlit Clouds is a slightly stronger option than Midnight Veil by a small margin. So this leaves Dungeon, I guess. And while Dungeon is cute and all, surely they didn't make a 5-star with the purpose of buffing a 4-star. So whoever is expected to pair with Cantarella is probably an unreleased unit down the line. Moving on to substats. These are fairly typical, with crit and attack percent being the two top priorities. The basic attack bonus has a high weight due to much of her damage having little innate damage bonus otherwise. Finally, for skill leveling order, focus on Forte, followed by Liberation and Skill. At a much lower priority, Intro and Basic Attack can be leveled for a little extra damage, but there's no harm in leaving them at level 6. This wraps up the build section. We'll cover team building and rotations next. Let's start out with the Carlotta and Shorekeeper team, as this is a good generic example of using Cantarella as a sub-DPS. Here we'll have Cantarella on Empyrean Anthem, requiring 14.7% energy regen. Let's look at the rotation. Start out with Carlotta's skill and skill 2, then swap out to Shorekeeper. As soon as you start the third basic attack, swap to Cantarella and use her skill, followed by Carlotta's Echo. Swap back to Shorekeeper and finish the rest of our Concerto rotation with a basic attack, Forte, Liberation, basic 1, 2, 3, skill, Echo, and finally one more basic attack and Forte. Switch to Cantarella and do one basic attack, followed by her skill, heavy, and skill 2. Next, do her full basic attack combo and skill 3, cancelling it with her Liberation. Follow up with one more basic attack combo, switching out to Carlotta. From here on out, it is just Carlotta's standard on-field combo. Skill into skill 2, mid-air attack, Forte, and unload Liberations, followed by another skill combo and Echo, swapping back to Shorekeeper. Being a coordinated attacker, Cantarella also works with Jinhsi. However, there's one big problem. Jinhsi ideally wants to have 12-second rotations, and Cantarella's skill 3 has an 18-second cooldown. This means that Cantarella won't be able to outroll the Jinhsi every rotation. But a bigger problem is that over half of Cantarella's resonance energy generation is from her skill 3 alone, which ripples out to the entire team, causing energy regen problems so bad that Jinhsi needs 3 rotations per 1 liberation cast. As such, it makes more sense for Cantarella to sub in for the support slot, running Rejuvenating Glow to buff the entire team. Start out on Cantarella using her Echo and Liberation. Swap out Honor Skill to Jinhsi and do her basic 2-3-4 combo, cancelling it with her skill 2, instantly dodging out of that. Jump cancel her first incarnation basic attack while using your Echo, then jump cancel the second attack as well. Cancel the third with her Liberation and the fourth with her skill. Finally, outro to Zhezhi. Use her Liberation immediately, followed by her basic attack combo, swapping out to Cantarella. Do a quick heavy attack into basic attack combo here, swapping back to Zhezhi as the third attack starts. Finish Zhezhi's combo with her skill, Forte, and then 3 follow-up skills, jump cancelling the first and dodge cancelling the second. Outro to Jinhsi and do her standard aerial combo. Dodge cancel skill 2 and cancel a couple of her follow-up incarnation basic attacks with her skill 3 and 4. Outro to Cantarella and use her Echo while dealing a single basic attack. Use her skill and heavy attack followed by both of her empowered skills back to back. Finish up her 3-part basic attack combo before outroing to Jinhsi for another combo, also using her Liberation to cancel an extra attack. To summarize this rotation, we'll want to stagger both Jinhsi and Cantarella's Liberations to cover each other's downtime, which in turn optimizes Jinhsi's stack generation. Then we alternate between Zhezhi and Cantarella outros to Jinhsi to optimize cooldown usage. So, how do all of these teams compare? Let's look at the map in the next section. To get an idea of her power and place in the current meta, we'll compare the 2-minute DPS of her various comps to previously existing team comps that she fits into. Starting with the Jinhsi team, she is a roughly equivalent side grade to Verena, offering a more consistent DPS output. While the Carlotta comp is her strongest team, similar to with Brand. This is less because she's a good teammate for Carlotta, but more of that Carlotta is just strong. That is to say that while this may be Cantarella's strongest pairing, it's definitely not the case for Carlotta herself. When paired with Camellia or Havoc Rover, she is outclassed by Rocha in both cases, as one might expect. She can be played as a dual DPS with Rocha, but the results there aren't much to write home about. Her sequences continue the power trend following Brand, with over a 2 times personal damage increase between S0 to S3, only to have complete nothing burger sequences following, and another little jump at S6. However, similar to other sub-DPS, the total value in team damage from her sequences is not that high. And that concludes this deep dive. I hope all the math wasn't too shocking to handle. While her potential may be largely overshadowed in the current meta, her usage should surge when she gets an appropriate teammate. See you guys next time. Bye bye!